Hiya, just going to get another quick video churned out for you. This is about the Kell Brook card that has been announced. This is my third attempt at this. I am so tired. I'm coming out with all sorts of drivel. So this is third attempt, third time lucky. Right. So about the card itself, headlined by Brook versus Luca. We'll get on to that one. And chief support is Kid Galahad versus Claudio Marrero. I believe that is the final eliminator for the IBF title held by Josh Warrington. Yeah. And then followed up by Terry Harper versus Eva Wallstrom. It's just a cheap way to say you've got a world title on the card, isn't it? Let's be honest. No. And then Dave Allen versus a TBA opponent. Yeah, there's a video coming about that. I'm not too pleased about that one at all. And even Hopi Price against a TBA opponent. So really, this is a dreadful card. This is the worst card I have seen for Matchroom in quite some time. Trying to rack my brains, definitely in the last 18 months or so, and even including the next gen bills, because at least the next gen bills, they're you know what you're getting with them. They're going to be young. You sort of get young fighters on the come up, so at least, they're just at your call, little fights against, usually against journeyman to pad records, so they're not too bad, at least. You know what you're getting with them, whereas this is trying to sort of paint itself as a fully fledged fight card, which it certainly is not. Now, Kell Brook's last fight was just over 12 months ago against Michael Zarafa. There have been rumours circulating about why Kell Brook has taken 12 months out. Look, I'm not going to speculate. Everyone's heard things. Let's move on. So Kell Brook has been out for 12 months now, and he is fighting Mark DeLuca. As I say, on the back of that Zarafa performance, he did not look good, did he? He looked very slow. He looked sluggish. He looked laboured. Laboured is the best way to put it. Was that because he wasn't up for the fight? Was that because he was struggling with the weight? Honestly, I don't know. He just looked to me like a guy that was past it, to be honest with you. And I think, to be fair, it is. In terms of where this card's all taking place, it's at Sheffield Arena for his homecoming, inverted commas. It's worth noting that Kell Brook has now had 6 homecoming fights in the last 8 fights. We have heard 6 times now that this may be his last fight in Sheffield before he retires, and we heard that the first time against, wasn't it, against that Dan Ion or whatever he was called? I've forgotten his name now. I believe it was against him at Sheffield, if I'm not mistaken. And then we heard that for the first time. That might be his last fight before he goes over and conquers America. Didn't happen, did it? And then he went on to have like 5 more fights at Sheffield. So anyway, yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to sell the whole homecoming thing again, because they have milked the fuck out of that. But in terms of the fight against DeLuca, DeLuca has not fought anybody. He fought an unbeaten Canadian super welterweight, or it might have even been a middleweight, actually. It might have been up at middleweight, if not mistaken. So he fought a unbeaten Canadian fella by the name of Brandon Brewer. Again, he'd fought nobody of note himself, and also Mark DeLuca has taken a loss to a guy called Walter Wright. Had to be careful not to say Walter White there, but avenged that in a UD immediate rematch. Now, the guy who was fighting that Walter is sort of like a domestic level US welterweight, super welterweight. So, yeah, make of that what you will. So, Mark DeLuca not really coming with much credibility, with much in terms of, I've clicked on just now to have a look through his record. I'm not seeing much at all. I knew about the people I've mentioned before, like the Brandon Brewer fight and the fact he fought that Walter Wright guy, but other than that, there's nothing really on this resume at all. So he's fighting essentially what you could say is a domestic level fighter. What do we expect to see? We expect Brook to beat him. We expect Brook to look good, probably knock him out. If he struggles, then we really have to start asking questions about what the hell Brook's still doing in the boxing ring. To be honest, I still think those questions are very, very viable. I mean, you can ask me those questions and I'll probably say that I don't think he should be fighting anyway. He's well past his sell-by date. The Gennady-Golovkin fight was brutal and he got battered and broken in that fight, and then battered and broken by Spence as well. And then since then, he's just had a couple of knockovers, but struggled with one of the inverted commas knockovers. So really, it doesn't bode well for me. I don't think that Kell Brook should be fighting. Look, what's left for him? What is left for him? What is he going to do at super welterweight, for fuck's sake? Honestly. Okay, let's... That super welterweight division has killers. Killers. I mean, I'm telling you now, I even think a Liam Williams would probably beat Brook now. I would actually quite like to see that fight. That is actually a fight, maybe, if they could make that now, but that's a Frank Warren fighter, so it won't happen, will it? Nah, that won't happen anyway. So no, come to think of it, there are literally no fights that would interest me. Liam Williams maybe, but that's not going to happen, so... No, I honestly can't think of any fights at super welterweight that excite me, because all of the top guys at 154 will just bludgeon him, and clearly he struggles big time with welter, so I'm just not really sure where he goes. If he waits out for the Khan fight, I mean, that Khan fight may happen now. I don't think it's necessarily not going to happen. I make the Khan fight a 40-60. 40 it won't happen. No, 40 it will happen, 60 it won't. That's the sort of percentage I give the Khan fight. Neither of them have anywhere to go now, do they? Let's be honest. Other than each other, will Khan finally fight Brook? Maybe, but Will also can't. He's just made a lot of money fighting Billy Dib in Saudi Arabia. So, is he content just to sit back and piss Kell Brook off? Probably. Is that even a stadium fight now? Probably not. If they sold that out, that wouldn't sell out Wembley. That I even think when they had that little resurgence after the, about 2 years ago, I think it was, they might actually have been able to do Wembley with that still, but now I'm just not interested. It could be going on in my back garden and I pull the bloody curtains. It's just not, of course if it did get made, I think we'd cover it and speculate, but we'd just be watching two shot old boys go at it now, What I miss is, the hand speed of Khan, but the volatility of Khan, the hot-headedness of Khan, and the way that you never know, he's either going to tag someone or get tagged. Kell Brook, a brilliant boxing brain on him. That slick Philly shell, and it was prime Kell Brook was class, They were both class, but now we'd just be watching two old men go at it. It's just not going to be the same, so... Look... I don't really see where this comeback leads. It either leads to Khan or it's a dead end, and neither of those things are particularly exciting propositions at this point. There are far more exciting fights in boxing, and unfortunately, there are far more exciting characters that have come through now that will excite people more than Kell Brook. I guess there could be a passing of the torch made. That could be something. You could get him in with a Fowler or a Fitzgerald. Because they're super welter, aren't they? Yeah, get him in with a Fowler or a Fitzgerald for a passing of the torch. That actually could be a thing. But as crazy as this sounds, if it's Fitzgerald, I might favour Fitzgerald now. They could also make it with Cheeseman, couldn't they? I think Cheeseman would probably get beaten by Brook even now. Fowler is a bit of a pick'em. To be honest with you, I'm not sold on Fowler, but I'm also not necessarily sold on how much Brook has left. So, look, to summarise for Brook, the most exciting fight I would like to see out there would be Liam Williams, but I don't think that's realistic. So, it's either going to be the Khan fight eventually, which again, I'm not sure how realistic that is, but eventually I think we're just going to see him get sold down the lane a little bit as food for one of the up and comers. So I think maybe a Fowler or a Fitzgerald, because they are trying to get those two to fight, aren't they? Again, for some reason, even though Fitzgerald's already beaten Fowler, because Fowler's the one they're trying to push. So I can see the winner of that possibly getting Brook in a passing of the torch. So let me know what you think, and take care. Just one thing to note that I completely forgot about, I needed to bolt on the end of this. Liam Williams moved up to middleweight, of course, after the Liam Smith fights. Completely forgot that. So, scratch that about Liam Williams. Still think it would be a good fight, though, but that's even less realistic than I initially thought. But no, sorry about that, and take care, and goodbye.